Since the beginning of full-scale invasion of Ukraine, Russia has overtaken Iran in the number of restrictions imposed on it. According to the calculations of the software that tracks sanctions, Castellum AI, the number of the anti-Russian sanctions has reached 16,000.
This is an absolute record for sanctions imposed on one country. For comparison, 3,616 sanctions were imposed on Iran, 2,608 on Syria, and 2,077 on North Korea. Next on the list are Venezuela, 651 sanctions, Myanmar, 510 sanctions, and Cuba, 208 sanctions. From the research of the Castellum AI online software.
Dual-use goods have been first to fall under sanctions. After all, the defense sector of the aggressor country is critically dependent on imported microchips and microprocessors. For example, the Ha-101 missiles, which the Russians launch at peaceful Ukrainian cities, contain such components as Intel processors, Xenix and Texas Instruments chips, and all those components are still being imported into the Federation.
The 155 companies whose products have been identified in Russian weapons accounted for $2.9 billion in sales of critical components to Russia in 2022. At the same time, shipments are almost entirely via third countries. Vladislav Vlasyuk, secretary of the International Expert Group on Sanctions against Russia, Yermak Makfol, on the website of the Office of the President of Ukraine.
Out of the 25 largest importers, 11 are direct suppliers to defense companies. Almost all Western electronics are sent to Russia via China and Hong Kong. Also, in the top of the list are Turkey, the Maldives, the United Arab Emirates, and Kazakhstan, The Guardian reported. A total of $502 million worth of chips from Western companies have been imported into Russia since the beginning of 2023, Verstka calculated. The situation is similar with sub-sanctioned civilian imports. The parallel import scheme allows the Federation to continue supplying aviation with spare parts and importing equipment. Therefore, the Ukrainian President's office is convinced that today it is important not just to strengthen the sanctions, but also to improve them.
There should be a complete halt to the transfer of technological components for weapons production to Russia from democratic countries, as well as a gradual complete isolation of Russia from trade with the free world, with the exception of a few humanitarian categories. Andriy Yermak, head of the Office of the President of Ukraine, on the website of the Office of the President of Ukraine.
Since Russia continues its attempt to circumvent sanctions, banks in Armenia, Kazakhstan, and Hong Kong have started blocking Russian companies from paying for processors, microchips, and other electronics supplied through parallel import. The reason is fear of falling under secondary US sanctions. At the same time, a number of countries are tightening control over the supply of certain products. By the way, since August 9th, Japan has banned the export of some used vehicles to Russia as a part of additional sanctions.
In cooperation with the international community, including the G7, as well as relevant ministries and agencies, we would like to firmly pursue measures. Yasutoshi Nishimura, Minister of Economy, Trade and Industry of Japan, Kyodo News reported.
About 750 items have been added to the blacklist of exports, including iron and other metals, boilers and fibers that can be used to support Russia's industrial activities. Reported by Anastasia Tarnavska, Yulia Hranovskaya, UATV News.